Good morning, everybody. This is your boy D Mac. So let's talk. All right. Well, you see the title. It's not a upbeat title, and my voice is already kind of monotone. So, you know, this might be uh, drop into a somber place at some parts. I'll try to, keep my voice upbeat and stuff like that. But man, whenever you're trying to process loss and try to work out things in your mind when something takes place and you lose someone close to you, it's a really, really tough process to go through. A lot of unanswered questions, a lot of speculation and things of that nature. And, it also causes you to question your everything. If you're a type of analytical person who really takes the time to do self inventory, whenever things like that take place, you begin to immediately take a self inventory, especially if what took place is something that very well could happen to you. And so, it's a very honest time for you. It's a very candid time for you. And I don't know. It's really just hard to put into words the process that we go through and the coping mechanisms that we use in order to get through the grief of losing someone that you hold dear. Um, and a lot of the determination of it is going to be based on how you lost that person, and in trying to unravel the whys and the who's, all of the W's that go along with it. In trying to unravel all of that, you really put yourself in a place of confusion sometimes if you don't settle down and really breathe and meditate and really think out what takes place and what took place in the situation. And so I say this because, well, the theme song that you hear every time it come on, the guy that's singing the old part, that's my nephew. Loved him to death, man. He was a good dude, and I lost him. This was a couple years ago. And as we go through life and as we lose people to different reasons and different circumstances, each time the process isn't any easier. It only gets harder, if that makes sense. The more you begin to gain understanding in this world, it's a harder pill to swallow because the questions that you ask are different now. The questions that I ask are different than what they used to be. They used to be, what happened? Who did what? How did this happen? All of those, where was this at? Those used to be the questions that I asked typically. But now my questions are, where was their state of mind? How was their relationship with the Most High? You know, where, where did God take them? I'm asking these types of questions now. My whole line of questioning is changing because I'm beginning to understand what's taking place. And what I perceive, this is my thought, this is only my thought. You can have your own thought. But what I'm seeing and from the people that I'm seeing leaving this earth, man, God is not playing with us. He is not playing with us because the enemy is not playing. That's what we don't understand, bro. That's what I'm not understanding to the severity that I need to understand it, because I'm always the first partaker in anything that I present to y'all. If I present anything to y'all about us needing to check ourselves, I'm going to be the first partaker in that because God was speaking to me first whenever He brought the message or the thought to my mind. To even speak it to anybody else, He was telling it to me for me. And so these things that I be sharing, man, um, That's why I can't write this stuff out. I cannot write out a script. I can't sit here and go by no lines, man, because whenever God starts speaking, man, he just starts speaking, and that ain't no script. You can't keep God to no script, man. So I'm just saying that, in the process of losing people, and there's so many different ways that I've lost people close to me, man, and some of them are still mind-boggling right now to this day. But even in that, I understand that, God has a plan and God doesn't make any mistakes. And so the people that he took home, and the people that, left here in a time which we felt was premature, we got to understand what God's plan is. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about, we don't understand. Like sometimes we go through hardships and we're not understanding in that hardship why we have to go through this, and we're always trying to figure out what we did wrong and how we got to this place. But ultimately we had to go through that in order to bring us to where the Most High was trying to bring us. Had we not experienced that, we would not be able to properly equip ourselves for where he's taking us next. And this is something that I'm starting to see as a pattern in my life. I started recognizing it some years ago, but I didn't really put much into it because there was not a I could pass it off as coincidence back then. There was a few things that happened. You know how stuff happened. You be like, okay, that was weird, but okay. And you just put it in the back of your mind. It was those types of things. But as time has gone by and as I've been studying and researching and really, really having a desire for truth and a thirst for knowledge and understanding, man, Yahweh's been giving me understanding. And in getting this understanding, man, there's been so much hurt. There's been so much frustration. There's been so much bitterness and pain that comes in understanding. Because when you start to understand what this world is going through and you start to understand the true state that we're in, then, it brings sorrow. If you're a compassionate person, if you really have a heart for the people, then it's sorrow because you see all of the hurt souls, man, and then you begin to look at how you take things for granted. That's the reality and the realness that we come to whenever we have these self examinations with ourselves. You come to the reality of what you're doing, how you're living, how you're eating, what you're partaking in. All of these different things start flooding into your mind whenever you have somebody that's been taken out of this world. You start to count up the cost pretty much. That's exactly what it is. I'm counting up the cost to my present actions in light of what I've just witnessed take place to someone else. Um, there's so many people in this world that have mental health issues. There's so many people in this world that are battling with childhood trauma, their adult trauma, all types of just mental health issues. And these things takes us to a very dark place. We all have been to a dark place. And let me just stress something, because people think that whenever you profess Christianity and you claim to be a child of the Most High and you walk in that, they think that you don't go to those dark places. They think that you don't have those dark days. And, that's a big myth that I have to dispel right now for anybody who thinks that Christians are not supposed to go through anything and Christians don't struggle. like anybody else. Everybody's human. Everybody has to tend against the flesh. You have to contend against your flesh, which is your carnal thinking, your carnal mind, your physical being, and you have to contend against the desires of that every single day. And that's why words say that the spirit will always war against the flesh, and the flesh will always war against the spirit every day until the day that you take your last breath on this earth. Your flesh is always going to contend with what your spirit wants. Your spirit wants the best for you. If you have the spirit of the Most High in you, then you are operating on a whole different frequency than the people who choose not to have a connection with the Most High. That's what people don't understand. Our frequencies and our chakra, all of these things have a lot to play in how we are connected to the Most High. And when people start talking about chakra and energy, a lot of Christians will get spooked. Oh, there you go talking about that old crazy stuff. No, it's not no crazy stuff. We are antenna. We are large antenna. Our voice vibrations and the vibrations of the sounds are lines of communication to us, and we are stimulated and we react upon that. I don't know why the church people always be trying to shun that. We need to stop that, please. Please stop that. When people start talking about energy and start talking about your chakra, these are things that are scientifically proven. These are things that are medically proven. And so I wish people would stop doing that, because that it stops people, it hinders people from having understanding about something. Get some understanding and get educated about things before you start to pass judgment on it, please, because it very well could be something that could unlock a door of understanding in your life. And I mean, these are the types of things that we go through. Good morning, my brother. Man, I'm pretty sure that you've experienced loss before out here, and just processing it, man, and you think about the people and whatever situation took them away from here. You begin to ask those questions. Like, man, what did in that moment before they took their last breath, what was it like? You know what I'm saying? What was the conversation between them and the Most High? What was their thought process? Was they thinking about their family? Was they thinking about this or that? I ask all of these questions to the Most High whenever these things happen, man, because I want to gain an understanding of being at peace with Him whenever I leave this earth. I want to gain understanding. One of the biggest fears in this world is dying. If you did a survey right now and you asked people what their biggest fear was, it would be something connected to death and dying and being hurt and stuff like that. And so, we have to come to a place to where we're not fearing death. Because yeah, we have to be cautious and don't go out and do things that's going to uh, kind of speed up your death, but at the same time, spending your whole life dwelling on death and worrying about when you're going to die, you're not living at all. That's not living if you're spending every day worrying about your death. And if this will make it a little bit easier for you, we die every single day. Every day we're dying just a little bit more, a little bit more. Because from the time that we open our eyes, come from the time that we're created in the sperm, when the sperm hit the egg and we begin to form, from that point, we're on the cycle of death. And we're headed to the point of dying. And so, you can't dwell on death like that. And that's something that I did for a long time. That's something that still comes up within me from time to time. And I say I'm fascinated with death, but it isn't like the actual just like people being dead. It's the, like I said, the before part, that right when the reality of I'm out of here hits. That what is the mind, what is the mind state, what is the mindset, what is the thought process in those moments. I've looked into the eyes of someone who knew that their hour was at hand, and I witnessed a man be strong for his family who's breaking down, and everybody's just sitting around just waiting for the inevitable. I've been in that situation, and this person still encouraging everybody around them until the moment that he closed his eyes. I've witnessed these types of things, and men with that type of strength, man, and women with that type of strength, man, it does something to you. That's one of the things that inspire you to keep pressing on, in no matter what's going on. Whenever you see that type of love that a person really have for you, in a person's last hours are the most honest and most candid hours of their life. If they're able to still talk and communicate, then those are the most candid, most honest, most beautiful, pure hours, or time in a person's life. And if you ever get to experience a person going through that, that's going to change your heart. That's going to change your mind about a lot of things. I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough of a shell you claim to have. When you experience the courage of somebody who's looking at the inevitability of death, and they still encouraging and speaking life into others as they begin to cross over, man, what's more powerful than that? Ain't nothing out here, nobody talking on the YouTube streets right now more powerful than that. Nothing. Nothing. I witnessed this, man. I witnessed my own father. My own father, man. I was 17 years old. And this man was, he was always a strong dude. He was a big dude, big frame, big voice. Everything was big about my pops. And even down to the time that he died, and he was suffering, man, but he would not leave this earth until me and my mom left out that room. And we sat in there, and it was just me and my mom, and we sat there and we were just chilling and talking to him and comforting him. And it was like, okay, cool, we gonna go down to the cafeteria, get something to eat real quick, and come back. Soon as we left out of that room, we wasn't even down the hall good. He was gone. And in my heart of hearts, and in my mind, and in my spirit, and in my soul, I believe that my dad waited until we left out of that room so that he could pass. And in those moments, man, that's something that has always strengthened me no matter what, because my father was a big, major presence in my life. And that's something that I'm so thankful for. I was just talking to my mom's yesterday, and I was thanking her because uh, during my era, that was the crack era. Crack hit so hard and so heavy, and a lot of my parents' friends, who were parents to my friends, got strung out on dope, and and I witnessed the destruction of families. I witnessed the intricate, step by step, phase by phase destruction of the black family. I was a part of that era. And I saw families go from being good, prosperous families to crackheads and drug dealers and prostitutes right before my very eyes. Right before my very eyes. And so I was thanking my mama, and my mom and daddy, not like they was no saints or nothing, like they did everything right, but I just, man, I thank her for not getting out there on this. I thank her for not ever trying crack. I thank her for just that, man, because like I said, so many people were destroyed, so many, and still being destroyed to this very day, still being destroyed. This is usually whenever a bomb explodes and it sends out the shock waves dissipate after a while. But it seemed like this is a bomb that just keep on exploding over and over again, and it keep on sending shock waves throughout our entire community. And now our entire nation, because our whole entire nation is on some type of drugs, whether it's prescription, whether it's opioids, whether it's natural, whether no matter what, we're on some type of drug. We're all self medicating with something. Even the ones, all right, and let's get specific on this because we have the ones that say, well, I don't do drugs, I don't drink alcohol. But there's something that you indulging in as a coping mechanism for what you're going through to hide the things that you want to avoid, that you don't want to deal with. There's something that you're doing. There's a vice that you have that brings comfort to you in those times of need that are not healthy for you. That's for the ones who don't do drugs and for the ones that don't drink. So we have to understand, man, whenever we're processing death and we're understanding some things because the Most High is bringing some things to our understanding, that's where most of our sorrow comes from. That's where most of my sorrow comes from. It comes from the understanding of, man, I don't know when he gonna call me home. I don't know when my time is set. I could be doing, and there's been a few times in my life that I can think of right now in the moment where I very well could have been gone from here. And in those moments where those things happen, what was my thought process? I'm thinking about what I was doing. And most of those times I wasn't into nothing good. Most of those times I was in doing dirt. Most of the times I was professing to love Christ, but still dipping and doing dirt out here in the streets, living double life, man. A lot of us out here living a double life. And when you live in a double, sometimes triple life, you say, how do you live a triple life? Well, you got your life that you have with your family, you got your life that you have with your friends, and then you have that side of you that you have with your co-workers. And you live so many different, you put on so many different masks, man, and you live so many different lives because we spend if you work a steady 8-hour job every day, you spend a great portion of your life at work. And so you have a persona that you have built specifically for your job to protect you, protect others around you from you sometimes. You have that persona that you built at home for your family, and most of the times that's the genuine you. And then you have the you that you built up for being around your friends and how you carry yourself around your friends. So we have all of these different lives that we're living, man. And, in some of these lives we do some dirt, in some of these lives we don't. And that's the game that we play. We juggle through this stuff in our life, but when we get caught, and when I say caught, whenever we lose our life abruptly in the midst of all the stuff that we're juggling, you have to think about, man, what would I really want to be out there? If I was to die today with everything that I have on my plate and everything that's going on in my life, what would come out about me? And I know you shouldn't be worried about what other people think, but this is a thought that you have. I mean, what would what would I look like if I was to die right now and everything that I got going on in my life was to come out? because that's when everything gets revealed after somebody passes away. When they're here, most people try to cover them, most people try to keep things in house. But once they close their eyes and take their last breath, that's when the floodgates open and people start to talk, and all of those things that person would probably defend themselves against, or maybe even confess to, are put out there in the world. And this is the thing that often shapes perspectives. And you know like I said, this is a part of the process that you go through when you lose a person, because you begin to find out stuff that it doesn't change your perception of that person, but it makes you really understand that you don't know a person like you think you do. When my dad passed, that's one of the biggest things about my dad passing, and that's one of the reason why I'm adamant about keeping a line of communication open with my children, the way they're able to talk to me and know who I am, is because even though my dad was a huge presence in my life, he was always in there interacting, but he never like shared anything about himself with me. He would give me life lessons and he would tell me stuff, but he never shared like, son, I went through this, and told me stories about himself. So I didn't really know like much about my dad. You know what I'm saying? I knew he went to work. I knew he whooped my butt if I didn't do what he had told me and my brothers to do. I knew he loved my mama, and those were the basic things that I knew about my dad. Just surface level stuff. I didn't know the things that made him tick. I didn't know, you know, I I didn't even know what my dad's favorite music was, because usually when we'd be in the car, the local station was Power 98, and that was R&B music and stuff. And then come to find out, my dad loved country music after he died. I found that out after he died. I wonder what my dad would think of rap music. That's a conversation that we could have had if I would have known that, but I didn't know those intimate, intricate things about my dad. And that's one thing that I made sure I kept the open line of communication with me and my kids, and they know who I am. So if somebody was to ask any of my kids about me, oh, well, my dad is like this, my dad is like that. They know me. They know my mindset. They know how I think. They know what makes me tick. Those types of things are very important, because like I said, when you close your eyes and when you leave from this earth, man, what you imparted into people lives on. And it's very important. I was talking to somebody the other day because I was, just in a place of frustration, and I was like, man, I really don't see the point of leaving no legacy on this earth. What's the point of leaving a legacy in this world? And somebody was like, well, legacy is important because Yahweh requires us to carry on his legacy in a sense. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. And so, wow, my little prayer thing just came up. Okay, but yeah, so I understand legacy and all of that, man. But I was just saying that, the state of this world, and right now I'm just rambling, y'all, but I was like, the state of this world right now, is this really worth leaving a legacy in? Is this place really, I mean, do I really care what somebody says about how I live my life? And I I don't know, man. I'm different, man. I think different. I don't know if anybody else had those types of thoughts, but I do. I really don't care about legacy. I really don't care about leaving a mark on this world. That has I don't have any interest in stuff like that. That don't motivate me. Things like that seem to be prideful things to me. That's like leaving a statue of you for everybody to remember who you were, and I don't care. Everybody gonna forget anyway. You here for a moment, and when you gone, you gone. Now there's some people out here who have done some things in the world that uh have been given a broad audience. And so some people will remember some things if they're given a broad audience like that. But if you're just a regular Joe, um, your lasting thing will just be for a smaller group of people, the people that have an intimate relationship with you, the people that know you, close to you. And, but overall, I guess my legacy will be the wisdom that I impart into the people that I love. That's the only legacy that I care to leave, man. That's the only legacy that I care to leave on this earth, is just imparting wisdom, love, knowledge, and understanding. And that's right directly in line with what the Most High legacy is. And so my desire is his desire. His desire is my desire, man. That's all I want to leave behind. If I can leave somebody the courage to be able to get through and not take their own life, if I can leave somebody the strength to be able to confront situations in their life and to be able to walk in God's word, man, and to overcome. If I can leave any of that behind, man, then that's all the legacy I need. If I can leave the strength in my sons and my daughters, man, to be able to not only make it in this world, but to go out there and really influence people in this world. That's all I really care to leave behind. That's it. But as far as anything else outside of that, I have no interest. It don't motivate me. And so this is my process that I go through whenever I mourn the death of somebody close to me. I've lost, man, this is like the third person that I highly regarded, that has left this earth, man, and these things bother us, man. These things really cause us to think about ourselves, like I was saying in the beginning. So if there's anything that I want to leave on this recording, is this. We get to points in our life to where we feel like it's not even worth being here no more. We hate this place. All of the different things that I be seeing people post. You may be saying it in jest, but a lot of times that be your true feeling. You just say it as a joke because that's your way of getting it out there, without being judged. I understand that. But no matter what, everything that goes on in this world, man, just know that um I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say. I usually try to leave with something encouraging, man. I usually try to leave with a solution, but man, right now ain't no answers. Ain't no answers. And that's just life. Sometimes there's no answer. And if you do get an answer, it's only going to produce more questions. So, man, rest in peace, my brother. Um, Bro, that's it, man. This is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out, man.